We should be live.
All right. I'll make another one.
Maybe I should change the name here.
Yeah, put 2 or something.
All right, we're back. I don't know what happened. It seems to be the same issue from few.
When, Regis was with us.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I am. I have no idea why it's going on. I mean, I'm guessing it's we're running out of RAM. It could be that.
How is that possible?
I don't know. Well,
Tim is back with us.
I think it's because I have a gazillion Safari tabs open.
Uh-huh.
And hey, welcome back. Sorry about that. But maybe I should be downloading the photos rather than
showing them online.
Because right now we have about 4 gigabytes of RAM free out of 16, which is crazy. It means we're using 12 gigabytes. Actually, no, more. We're using 14 gigabytes. So we have 2 free. Sorry about this.
Yes, I don't know.
So I think we should stop the ramble.
Yes.
Hold on. And I don't get the live chat.
Yeah, I have it here.
All right. So I can't see the live chat for some reason.
That's strange.
Yeah, now
There.
it's back.
All right. CM is saying, is the bad YouTube bandwidth in Sweden during Friday nights?
You think so?
I don't know. He's asking. I don't know. We have literally the computer on top of ice bricks.
Yeah, the computer is not exceptionally hot or anything, but I have it on ice bricks anyway. I mean, it's pretty hot. It is, but it's not 100 Celsius. It's 70 Celsius. Anyway, this is crazy. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So, should we jump in?
Talking about the photographer of the day.
Yeah.
Just we're gonna have to rush through in case, guys. If it goes down, we'll try to be back. So just keep refreshing YouTube. We should come up as a new stream at some point.
Hopefully we won't, because as we start looking at photos, I'll start closing tabs in the Safari window that I have open over there. And next week, I guess I'll have to do it some other way. I'll just download the photos instead of keeping them on
We do some
Safari.
testing, maybe.
All right.
Tim saying YouTube did choose now a very low quality for this stream and another video. Maybe it's a YouTube thing. Shami is like, YouTube needs to go out on Friday night. They're just kicking us out. Yeah. All right. Let's move on and talk about our photographer. This week, I chose a photographer that is, I would say, diametrically opposite from the photographer we had last week. I remember that we were talking about, that we both enjoy both the hyper kind of realism that the photography of Albert was bringing, but that we really also enjoy abstract work. So I decided to talk about one of the pioneers and the most important photographers early on in the 20th century about abstract expressionism in photography. He was such a ahead of his time that most other photographers didn't really get his work, and there were painters mostly that really acknowledged that he was doing a great work and a great job with the photography and the type of photos he was taking. And his name is Aaron Siskind. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. He is an American photographer, or he was an American photographer, born in the early 1900s and passed away in 1991. And you are gonna show quite extensive sample of his work. He did start with more documentary photography and taking pictures of peoples and places earlier in the 20s and the 30s, but in the 40s he started photographing patterns and textures of really everyday objects and really mundane scenes, we can call it, like ropes and footprints and seaweed, and really coming in close to really abstract the the composition out of anything that could give the viewer an idea of what it is that he was photographing, so to speak. But before we move on to the more abstract, here you're showing a photo that belongs to a project called The Pleasures and
Terrors of Levitation.
Yes, and this is I found it quite interesting. I went in to look for more information about this particular project because it's just so different in a way, so different from all the other things we're gonna see from him. But when you kind of distill the essence of the project itself, it's not really that far out from other things that he was doing. He went on, I don't remember where it was, but to appear in the front, and these are people that are jumping from like into water in a waterfront
diving ramp.
Yeah, on a diving ramp. And he wanted to really abstract the diver from anything that could give you an idea if they were going up, if they were going down, if they were just standing still in the air. Or he even did a lot of purpose work in the darkroom to remove any sign of clouds, anything that could actually give an orientation or a sense of gravity. And the fact that he also tried to do croppings that don't really tell you what's up, what's down, or if the object is pulling down because of gravity. Obviously we're seeing human figures and we're seeing them with swimsuits. We have an idea what's happening, but his idea was to really make it as abstract as possible. He said about this project that the guys were divers, but they weren't really divers. They were levitating in a dream state, and then he knew what he was after by taking these photos. So it's like kind of like representing them and their dreams in a state of vacuum, of like, we don't really know where you are you going down, are you going up, what's happening around you. We can make all the stories we want about them, and really focusing on the structures and the shapes and the angles. And some people even compare that they look like script, like different letters. And he also presented the work either in single prints, but also in collections of prints put together. I think there was an example in one of the ones. Yeah. So yeah, this project is interesting because someone had mentioned about it. It's kind of like a portrayal of freedom and relief that is opposite to the big city that he was used to photographing in, and where this event was actually taking place. So it's kind of, they were in this very big city, and then it's this event when you are able to just like capture in time and space this very abstract and free form of the human nature, in a sense.
This one looks like a triple exposure.
Oh, that's actually cool. Yeah,
because there's like 3 pair of knees. There's these knees over here, like those 2 legs here, but they're not the same as this one, because this one has their legs bent. Yeah. And then there's a third figure.
Yes.
Could be more.
Doesn't it look to you like, if I look at it like this, it looks like a flower with petals with different translucence. Like, it really, you have to focus that it's actually human figures in there.
For me, it looks like a dream. You know how dreams sometimes don't happen like linearly?
They stack up on each other.
They stack up and they go together.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is reminding me of that.
I think this was a very interesting project and representation. And it really reminds me, you have a very photographer that you like a lot, and he has some pictures of people diving.
Yeah, you're thinking of Rodchenko?
Was it Rodchenko?
He has a couple of...
I was confusing it with another American photographer, I think. That they were like, there were pictures of them in the air, and you could see some mountains behind some of them. I don't really remember.
David Burnett has a photo of a diver that I like.
Maybe that's the one.
And Rodchenko does as well. I like diving pictures in general. I think they're really cool. Because of the element that Aaron here is like basically maximizing by doing the darkroom work and completely canceling out everything in the background. Like, there's no clouds, there's no gradient of the sky. The light intensity in the sky creates a gradient. You can't really see that here.
I really like this set of 9, how they are actually chosen to be in relationship with each other. Also works really nice.
All right. Now we jump into the other stuff that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, he really took a quest of I mean, what people were saying is, his work resonated more with painters that were on the line of abstract expressionism, and that he really wanted to document and to work with his inner emotions by taking these pictures, which was getting very close to patterns and how you call, not images, but scenes that were very abstract from the thing that were happening around. So he has a lot of pictures of also the representation of decay. I feel like it was something that he was attracted to. There is a lot of like old wood, driftwood.
Do you see the star in this one? I
see it.
I can't not see the pentagon star.
I see it.
And it looks like, what is this? It's like a dried paint.
It's dried paint on a wall, I would say. Yeah.
It's so cool. This is some of my favorite stuff to photograph. Sorry I interrupted you.
No,
it's talking about right. The decay.
Yeah, the decay is something that I see around the across the work of Aaron. When I was reading about his work and him being one of the first expressionist photographers, so to speak, I caught myself thinking like, do I understand what expressionism and impressionism mean? Because I pride myself into saying I really like abstract work. I like things that make you not know what you're looking at, and you have to figure it out, and you have to think about what it means to you as a viewer or consumer of the art. And also I like it as a creative tool, as an artist, so from the other side. So I was like, I love Impressionism. When you talk about Impressionism, people think Monet, and actually Impressionism as a whole art movement comes from the title of one of his pieces, which was Impressionism, something sunlight or something. It comes from that. So he's like the gold standard of Impressionism. I really love his work. To me, Impressionism has always been work that evokes something. So it kind of captures the essence of whatever is seen or whatever thing you are either photographing or painting. So this very dreamy use of color and shades, and it's like almost you're squinting, and this is the impression that the scene leaves on you. And I really enjoy that. And then we have the expressionism part, which what I understand is that it's not so much about having an intention of what the viewer is going to feel or think or getting on their end, but the expressionism is just a burst of the emotions from the artist and the person creating the art piece that expresses what they're feeling into the artwork. And it doesn't really matter so much about how is it viewed on the other side. The intention is also that it's going to be thought provocative, and that people might or might not understand what the artist was doing, but that's like another side of the art piece. But the expression comes from the artist into the piece, whereas the impression is the scene gets imprinted into the art piece, and then the viewer can have the impression of that scene. So I see it a bit of like the difference and the relationship between the scene, the message, the artist, and the viewer. They differ in Impressionism and Expressionism, but they're two abstract ways of art, in a sense. Does that make sense?
It does to me, at least. Yeah. It wasn't so clear either. You did tell me about this before we started.
Exactly. So
I didn't know what the difference between Expressionism and Impressionism was. And for me, I never thought of photography as an expressionist art form, or like it can be used expressionally. I always thought of it because I was familiar with the Impressionist movement in the sense of like from paintings, and how you can emulate it also by doing photography. Like I think one of the more famous photographers, or at least the ones that I know that are doing Impressionism, Ernst Haas.
Ernst Haas, yeah.
I really like his work. I was kind of I was drawn to try similar things even before I saw his work. And then when I saw his work, I was like, wow, this is like the stuff that I really like to do sometimes as well. There's a bunch of different artists that I currently like follow, and they do a lot of stuff like that. And I just find it so beautiful. But I didn't know that I can, to me, this, I wouldn't necessarily call it impressionist, like, because I know like the resolution, let's say, of what I'm looking at is clear.
Yeah.
But why and what I'm looking at in a lot of cases is not so clear. So I think that is the
expressionism, the difference.
Exactly. So the expressionist is like, okay, so I can see clearly the lines are, but what am I looking at? Like, is this
and what
a microscope image, or is it a pattern on a wall? What is happening? I'm not so sure, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, is he trying to like show me the number 6 here, or what? You know, just like it's not so clear. When it's an impression of a scene, I sometimes find the meaning to be more clear.
Yeah.
Or at least, not necessarily the meaning, but the scene is more clear in a way.
Even though it's less hi-fi to the truth, but it's more high fidelity to the meaning, or to the, right? Like, but that's what I understand as impressionism as well, is you are getting the essence of whatever you are portraying, right? It doesn't have to be high detail, but it's what it comes down to, the bare minimum of what it is, right? Might be it a feeling between two people on the streets, it might be the light rays or the light falling into something, or it might be the shape of something in not in detail, but in like a big scale, right? And that's, to me, 100% impressionism. And then this expressionism is more about abstracting little pieces of the world as super high definition, and for you as an artist they mean something, they're expressing what you're feeling inside, they have a meaning. And then how is that taken out with someone looking at the art? It's a completely different thing. They don't really need to be what they are. It's the magic of it, right?
So I think this one that we're looking at is a good example of like how this could have been an impressionist photo of a forest.
I was thinking about that right now, yeah.
But it's not. It's obviously some paint on a wall or something along these lines.
Yeah.
That could be expressing a forest.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not, because there's an open-endedness as well. Because if the artist is not declaring what they're expressing with this image, I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you anyway to feel how you feel about anything. But, you know, like, I don't know if let's say here, it has a name.
Chicago 6.
It's called Chicago 6.
Which just means it was talking in Chicago, I guess.
Yeah.
It could be, I think it's some paint on a wall or something like that, yeah.
Exactly. But, you know, as we were saying, that it does also have that impression of a forest.
Yeah.
But
because then so what you're seeing is a super high definition or high representation of that painting in the wall, but that painting in the wall might be an impression of a forest, because it's not so clear. Definitely I see it that way too. Like,
we can see some cracks, we can see it looks like a wall for sure, and this looks like the ground. This line is the separation between the two. But whatever it is, it's beautiful. And I like this dot here because it's like the moon or the sun.
It's really a beautiful photo. And
these things over here, they look like clouds or like patterns in the sky.
Yeah, the texture of it as well.
I have to say, like, I glanced at all the photos that we're going to look at today. And I think this is definitely my favorite one.
One of my favorites as well.
Moving on.
Yeah, so he was also... This is part of the decay that we were saying, you know, things that just are not as they used to, and the time passes, and that has an imprint in the reality and the world. And also, again, getting super close. Of course, it's obvious we know what it is. It's a window with broken glass. But it is very abstracted to wherever we don't know. Is this from a building where people still live in? Is this from an abandoned area? Where is it? It doesn't really matter, right? What we are trying to portray, or he's probably trying to portray here, is part of himself, how he's feeling about this passing of time, for example. So difficult to actually analyze art, and in a sense, because we have no clue, right? Unless we have proof of what the person they think they were doing. It's really up to us to try to make it have a meaning.
Yeah.
And does it have to have a meaning? Or
I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a lot. I've been like engaged in a lot of conversation about this, and it's like, for example, what defines fine art, and I think it's not anyone's job to define it for anybody else. Like we talked about this, and also what defines a snapshot. Like you don't know, we don't know. This could look like a snapshot to somebody. It could look like a masterpiece to anybody else. Take two different people, and again, I like to use music as an analogy because I think it's the easiest to understand or to relate to for most people. Like I love metal, for example, and I also do love classic music, and I love jazz, and I love all those kind of things. But then, and to me, all of these are art. Like I see the art in progressive rock and progressive metal. To me, that's like one of the highest forms of musical art. At the same time, I think the same way about jazz, right? I think the same way about classic music. But there could be somebody who shares my exact opinion about jazz or classic music, and then they listen to the prog rock that I listen to, and they tell me that it's just a bunch of noise, right? So having a clear-cut definition for something like this, it just doesn't make any sense, because art is so close to feelings, and feelings are so personal. And I think for you as an artist, don't get caught up in any of this stuff. Like, just express yourself, do whatever you like, and it doesn't really matter how you critically think of it, or how do other people critically think of it. I always refer to this letter. I should have it on cue. I should have it bookmarked so I click it every time I want it, because I can't remember the names.
The dancer one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll talk about it next episode. But it basically, the gist of it is that it's not your job to criticize your own work, even. Just if you feel an intuition or an urge to do something as an artist, just go for it and let it live somewhere, and let it up to other people to decide how they feel about it, I guess. Yeah, I guess we move on to the next photo. This one, you know what this one looks like to me? What is it called? IVF?
In vitro fertilization?
Right?
Yeah, when they're putting in together the egg with the sperm and
to me, when I first looked at it, it instantly reminded me of those like short videos like you see in documentaries talking about the subject.
In the petri dish.
I think anyways, let's not go too much into it, but it looks like that. It looks like these rods, or like these black lines, are going inside these circles and injecting something.
These bubbles.
The white stuff.
This also, like, it's an example of how the experience of the viewer will drastically change the experience of watching a photo, because it's always gonna be constricted to one's own experience in life.
So if I never seen IVF
exactly, you
before,
would never be able to relate it to that. Yeah. So, and whenever this photo was taken, it was in the 60s or the 40s. Maybe that wasn't even a thing, so no one could even relate to such a thing.
Yeah, so basically what I'm seeing when I look at it didn't even exist when he got inspired to take the photo.
Yep.
So it's probably, it's most definitely not what he saw when he took it. I wonder what he saw though.
A nice composition that I spoke to him. I don't know, that's where you were saying sometimes we should not be such a critical of
no, but I'm just curious.
I know what I mean. It's like he just oh, this looks like it makes me feel good, so I will take a photo of it. Or maybe he saw something different.
Another way that I'm seeing it is as a bunch of creatures, like these have personalities because
they look like eyes, those things there.
Exactly.
If you look sideways.
That's what I was just about to say, is that our brains are wired to like detect patterns. And whenever you see two dots next to each other, your brain is always eyes.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot of really nice, cute examples around of faces, right? We try to anthropomorphize everything. That's how our brains work.
That's the lizard brain, right?
Yeah,
I think so. It's the fight or flight system, like engaging, because it's like eyes. Do I run or do I make friends now? Or do I make it my food, basically? Which one am I going to pick?
True. CM is mentioning here that one can also subscribe to an institutional definition of art, like George Dyke. Art is what the world of art calls art.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, like, I don't know. Sure, one can do that. I don't know if I would, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like, I mean, what is the world of art? I don't know if I'm reading too much into that statement, but I mean, because here's the thing, and I'm not accusing anybody, and I'm not trying to burn any bridges, but I mean, a lot of times people do things because there is benefit in it, and like monetary benefit in it, and there's no shame in that.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, like you want to eat, you need to live, you need to make a living, But I feel like a lot of times things are just what they are because they're marketable, because they can be marketed in a certain way. And that's the world we live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, sometimes things fall off that wagon and fall off the whole wagon, basically, not just that part of it, just because they're not marketable, or, or not easily marketable, or, that can be turned into money, basically. And you yourself said, like, this photographer, Aaron, he was basically not recognized by photographers if it wasn't for the painters community that appreciated their work. And again, the painters, of course, are a part of the art world. But I feel like if anybody subscribed to an institution and, kind of gave up their freedom to feel, that's not necessarily a good thing, because if you let somebody else dictate how you feel about things, I don't think that's necessarily a great idea.
Thing,
I think you should be able to formulate your own thoughts and feelings about things, and if you like anything as whatever to you, that's it. And that statement clear? If you like anything as whatever for you, that's it.
Yeah, of course.
Summarizes my feeling on the subject.
Anything goes, sort of thing. Yeah. It's interesting that the first exhibitions that he did of all this more abstract work, they were on painters exhibitions. So he was exhibiting alongside painters. He wasn't really like, nobody really wanted him in photography galleries or for photography group exhibitions or anything like that, because he was so different from anything that was happening around.
And honestly, like, I see the appeal in that, because I think a lot of the artists who work like that, like Ernst Haas that I mentioned earlier, he's one of the people who's famous for saying, I don't think he's the only one who says it, because I think every photographer who is into that kind of thing feels internally the same way. What Ernst said, I'm a painter in a hurry, or I'm not a photographer, I'm a painter in a hurry.
Yeah.
And basically that's exactly what he was. He was just using the camera as a brush, and it's a much faster brush than any other brush, basically. So, and I definitely, like, that statement, when I read it, definitely resonated with me. And I tell you, I've said it like out loud before, maybe not exactly verbatim, but the meaning.
Yeah.
For me, I felt like, okay, when I want to take a photo, just because I don't know how to paint this scene.
Because you want to put yourself in the photo you are taking, or the representation of the scene, and then painting it would be one way, but
even not an impressionist photo, even if I take a clear photo, like an objective, To me, it's just because like I wanted to do a still life painting of that
Yeah.
scene, but I couldn't,
Yeah.
so I took a photo of it instead,
Mhm.
and now I have it forever. Um, I remember one time I was sitting on, I don't know if I told the story on the podcast before, but I was sitting on the balcony. My dad's friend was over. My dad was busy on the phone, and so we were sitting there together while my dad's come back. And then, we basically ran out of things to talk about. And it was sunset in Beirut, and the sky is completely pink and beautiful with clouds. And I just leaned over and I was like framing the clouds in a way. I had always the camera is on my side. So I took a photo, and he looked at me and said, so you decided to eternalize that scene, that sky. Well, he said it like maybe in Arabic it doesn't sound, in English it doesn't sound the same way it is in Arabic, but it's basically what he meant to say. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think
That's
yeah,
what I wanted to do.
exactly. And I never really thought of it that way,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's the point of most things
Mm-hmm.
in a way. Like when you make a piece of music, when you play it, if you record it,
You want to keep it.
you're keeping it. You
Yeah.
want to preserve it. A lot of times, like if I'm playing music without recording, these songs are gone forever, and I never ever record. And sometimes I'm upset that I don't, because I'm not a great musician.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I do flow and some nice stuff come out.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, I wanted to mention at the beginning of the episode, if you're sick of that music in the beginning and you are a musician, send us some stuff. We'll put your name on it and put it on the intro while people wait till we start the stream.
Yeah.
I did this announcement before. Should do it every episode, but I keep forgetting. So if you make music, hey, send us some. For you who are listeners of the podcast, you don't listen to that waiting music. Maybe it's for the best. You listen to the other intro that I also made. So if you also have a better intro that you want to share with us, we will thank you in the beginning of the episode. Put your name out, and that's enough about that. Thank you.
I really like that intro though.
I mean, you like me, I guess, so your judgment is suspect.
No, I'm not biased. It's catchy, super catchy.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So this one is a more typical. It can be construed as abstract, but it's also a more typical, perhaps, street photo. I would even call it.
This one is crazy because what's going on there? Like somebody lost their
Prosthetic.
prosthetic.
Yeah. It looks very eerie and creepy.
Now because I saw it before and I was like, whoa! I didn't have time to like really sit and look at it when I was setting this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, what happened?
What's going on?
Now because I had time, I'm thinking, how is there a leg in those pants?
It must be a wooden leg,
I guess because it's really.
And is the other thing a shoe?
There's a shoe. Yeah, somebody was just like blown off their pants.
Yeah.
Or like pulled out of their pants.
Rush.
I don't know what happened.
It's very strange.
It is. Anyways, we look at the next photo. This one I really like as well. I really like when the layering of it as well. That it kind of gives it a texture. I always, whenever there's a net.
Yes, he was very, very attracted to different textures, and that's why he has tons of photos of rock surfaces, pavements, walls, and like he was really into this like two-dimensional space of reality. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Tim is saying mannequin, possibly a mannequin.
We went the hard route. Someone just blew up.
I was thinking somebody was kidnapped basically when they pulled him up.
That is
they took the attached leg, but the other one just stayed behind with the pants and shoes. I don't know what happened, but could be a mannequin. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just I lost it now. Let me see if I can pull it back from the history. Yeah, because there's a car right next to it. That's why I thought somebody just pulled them out of their place and out of their pants, basically. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. But hold on a second. Is that... Yeah, I think, Tim, you're right. I see a hole in the heel of this one. Let's investigate.
Oh, yeah.
And that's...
For putting a mannequin up.
Yeah, right?
I think so. Could be.
Yeah, it's just a discarded mannequin. And there's a shoe here, but this, if there's a hole here, that means that this foot is not wearing a shoe. Meaning,
Is that the shoe that belongs to that leg? We don't know.
good question. This looks like a right foot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a left foot, actually.
No, I think it's a right one. No, it's a left one.
How do we know?
I'm looking at mine now.
You think it's the left one?
I think it's the left one. Yeah,
Because that's a left. This is a left shoe.
Yeah, and that's the left foot because this is so silly. But the
pants?
no, because of the shape of the fingers, they just fall onto the back. I think.
I'm looking at this line here,
Yeah.
and this looks like the ball of the foot. And if so, this means it's a right foot. Hope you guys are enjoying this one.
Riddles every week with country fingers.
All right, let's move on. Again, we have some paint on a wall.
Yeah, a lot of decay of painting and the structures and the shapes and the forms that the fleeting paint
Do you know what this one gives me a feeling of?
Or what?
Japanese traditional art for some reason.
I actually think, like, for me, it's giving me... I know that these are inorganic, completely random marks.
Yeah.
But look at the left side one. It looks like a person with a hat and a big nose.
This one, like a cartoon.
Yeah, like with a...
Do you know Phineas and Ferb?
Yeah, actually, it reminded me of that. Yes, I was thinking about that. And you know, like, how our brains... And then the one in the middle, it looks like a sideways bear looking towards in the middle.
Where?
There.
Here?
No, yeah, up, the gray one.
Oh, that's true. It does look like a bear.
And you know, like,
that's the
those
eyebrow.
Things
that's
are
the
not
eye.
there. They are not there. They don't exist.
But that's the cool thing about abstract, is that you can see whatever you want. Like, it's like staring at the clouds.
It's like playing at clouds, yeah. And it looks like it could be even a waiter bear that is having a tray in the hand and giving it to the other person.
That's so cool.
I really like these games. And it is really just a paint off wall, you know.
Basically.
That's what it is. But it can be so much more than that. And I really...
If you think about it, it's such a bad wall, but it's also at the same time such a beautiful wall.
Right?
Yeah.
The duality of the reality, in a sense.
Yeah. What are we looking at here? Again, no idea. But these are beautiful. Like the way he...
I think these are paints like graffitis and things like that.
Could be like graffiti, but at the same time could be something else completely. Beautiful textures and shapes.
Yes.
This looks like a piece of wood. And it's just so... Like, it's so simple, but at the same time, that's something that I also like was talking about recently with someone, is when you... like, your choice of how to frame it is also a very interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a very interesting... What am I saying? I can't even say what I want to say. Like, your choice of... Like, when we were talking about snapshots.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that you chose to... that frame... instead of all the other frames
else, yeah.
that you can be looking at. And again, this could be like, somebody could be looking at this show and be like, what are these two crazy people looking at? Like, it's just, what is this? And yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. Again, like, maybe I wouldn't necessarily stop to look at this photo if I wasn't necessarily trying to study this photographer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what this is. We're trying to look at this photographer and how they chose to compile their work as well.
In a specific way, yeah.
And I do find it interesting as well. I feel like it deserves a moment to like stop and think about it.
And I think it could also be inspiring in a way. I don't know. I know that the feelings about abstract art are pretty strong. You know, either people like really love it or really like it, and other people are like, "What? This has no point." But I think also the fact that this is one of the first people that really tried to bring this into a new complete medium, you know. Before Aaron was taking photographs in this way, the majority of this expressionism was just coming out from painters and I think it's so cool that painters were doing these kind of things, this kind of structures, this kind of relationship of shapes and forms in a two-dimensional medium like a painting, although you can also put up the three-dimensional with, some impasto and stuff like that. But and then Aaron was able to find these same things out there. He's not really making them up.
Mm-hmm.
He's not painting them. He's not bringing them from his imagination.
That's
These
important.
are very pieces that exist. They are.
That's important because like somebody would agree to this being a beautiful painting if it was made out of paint. But for some reason they might downgrade it if it was just a photograph. And I think that's the error in appreciating abstract photography, is that people look at it as sometimes as in like it's a photo of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we assume that a photo has to be of something.
Yeah.
But we do accept a painting to be of nothing.
Yeah.
Because we assume like, they're just a beautiful shape. But
and it's coming from their imagination, and it has this and this other thing, and then a photograph cannot really have that dreamy component on it, just because it's representing reality and something that exists, but it's not really that. The choice of the photographer of making this particular frame and bringing these shapes together has a meaning.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. And I mean, like, both of us are a fan of abstract photography, so maybe, if you're
other
not,
people,
maybe you don't agree.
If you think that
fine.
we're not making sense, then I'm really, I know I really like to talk with people about this, because to me what we're saying makes total sense, and there is a space for this kind of photography, but other people might think otherwise.
I do want to rotate this one 90 degrees counterclockwise.
Yes.
I think it would look like a
map.
I was gonna say a map that is overlaid with the flag of a country.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we have the remnants of the lines on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it does, as you said, looks like a map. And I think it would look super cool. I just really wanted to. I'm gonna rotate myself.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Although I also like it in this way. Again, like my brain is detecting the eyes everywhere.
Everywhere.
Graffiti.
Yeah, he was also very into isolating graffiti parts and finding shapes and compositions within graffitis.
This one is certainly rotated.
You think?
Yeah, because look at the paint drops.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I actually like it more this way.
Yeah.
Than this way. Like the way that it was sprayed in.
It looks like it says eye drop.
Right? It does. It's kind of like those I Heart New York.
Yeah. Eye drop.
Eye drop, period.
It's really cool that, it looks good to me. It looks beautiful. I had this conversation about tattoos, because I have few tattoos myself. And for me, my tattoos, they have to mean something. I have a relationship with them. They have a purpose in my body. And then there's a lot of people that have a lot of tattoos that when I ask them, oh, why did you get this one or something, it's like, oh, I just like how it looks and I just want to have it in my body. It doesn't really need to have a external relationship to me in any shape or form. I just like how it looks and I wanted to have it with me, and my body is my canvas and I can just put it in there. And I feel like maybe I am not there yet to just get a tattoo just because it looks good and I really want it to mean something. And I think for some people, art or photography or painting, it's also like that. They really prefer that it has a meaning and it's of something clear and direct, and they can have a connection with it rather than just look at it because it looks beautiful.
Yeah. I think again it goes back to the definition of photography itself and the purpose of photography, because as I was saying earlier about photography being in a big part used commercially. I mean, how often do you see paintings used as commercial?
But
they exist.
Graphic art sometimes, yeah.
Yes, they exist. But how often? If you're trying to sell something, most likely you're going to take a photo of it. And that's how so I think that that view detaches a lot of people of photography, even landscape. Even landscape photography in a way, is a commercial. You know, like, and because a traditional landscape photo at least, is like, hey, look how beautiful this place is. You know, like you can go to Iceland or Norway and, you know, photograph all these crazy mountains with beautiful scenes and skies and waters and stuff like that. And it's a beautiful photo, but at the same time, it's an Iceland commercial. You know, it's a tourism commercial. But then, like, I think Bae Byung-yu, the Korean artist that we showed a few episodes ago, was taking these like eerie forest of Korea, and to him, he wanted like to show his relationship about his with his landscape. But I say that, I mean, that's not necessarily a good commercial photo, but to me, it's a great photo. It's like better or more enjoyable than a lot of the amazing scenery that you can capture with a camera, because that photo had feeling. It had emotion.
It had an impression.
Exactly.
Also.
And so for me, as an art appreciator, let's say, as somebody who appreciates art, it's not fancy. I'm not just trying to give myself any fancy titles, but like as someone who likes to enjoy art and likes to have pictures and paintings hung up on the walls, I would much rather have the Bae Byung-yu photo framed in a living room than a photo of the mountains of Iceland, even though I might prefer to hang out there in Iceland and walk around.
Yeah, but it's a whole different thing. It's not about the reality of it. It's about what do you feel when you look at the photo you have
exactly.
at home, right?
And that's like reconnecting it to what you were saying about the tattoos. Is like, yeah, you might enjoy a specific painting or drawing, but you don't necessarily want to have it on your body, because it doesn't have any personal meaning to you. And at the same time, you know, vice versa, like, yeah, you do have to like the art that you have on your body, but at the same time it needs to have an emotional connection. So like there's this duality in how you prefer things for what.
Exactly.
There are some comments, if you want to go through them while I...
So CM is mentioning, as soon as we discover the real motive of an abstract photo, it stops being abstract and becomes just a photo of a thing that exists in reality. I think that is the flaw of abstract photos. It does not happen with painting. That does not happen with painting. I guess if...
Well, but here's the thing. Painting, whatever it is made out of paint. So I think the distinction here is that if you think of the stuff that are in the photo, like for this one, for example, we're looking at a wall with I think these either chipped paint or a ripped poster, or a mix of both, and think of these stuff as the oil that, or the acrylic or whatever, like the watercolor that was used to create a painting. My family, my dad's work is basically using material to make really beautiful art pieces out of wood and mother of pearl and stuff like that. And if you look at those pieces, they just look like beautiful pieces with beautiful patterns. But then they are compiled out of things that exist, out of like basically the wood and the mother of pearl and stuff like that. So
I guess maybe what he's meaning is more that, you know, if there's an abstract photo of a pattern we're gonna see some maybe a wood in sand in a beach or something like that, and you are able as a photographer to abstract it so much that it's not apparent at first glance that is a beach with sand and a driftwood in an abstract composition.
My point is it's irrelevant.
I understand, but what he says is like once he realizes, oh, it's sand and it's wood, then that the abstraction of the result kind of goes away from him or something like that. For me, it doesn't work like that. I actually like playing to try to find out what is it that I'm looking at and try to find meaning or new patterns in the patterns presented. Tim is actually saying, I see faces in so many of his photos. Do you think that was intentional?
Could be. We have no idea what he was trying to do.
I mean, I can almost safely say that if you are saying those faces, maybe he was also saying those faces, just because we're programmed to really like recognize those patterns as faces, even though they are not.
My mom is sending emojis. Hi, Mom. What is that emoji?
A monkey is a monkey.
I think that's my mom. I don't know if it's my friend Yara, because
You have a friend Yara, yeah.
But I'm guessing it is.
This one that you were showing, it looks like a landscape to me.
Right?
And it's actually interesting because you guys don't see it, but here I'm seeing the photos quite small until he puts them full screen.
Yeah.
So the thing that I see first about a photo is only very superficial patterns and surface. So I cannot really see details on it.
Yeah.
So I can actually get this very like impressionist feeling of the photos that we're seeing.
Exactly. And I think that's important as well. Like if you have a piece of like this hanging on your wall, most of the time you're not going to stop and think what it's made of. It's just going to blend into the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're looking at like, so for example, look at it like this versus like this.
It changes too.
It changes a lot how you feel about it. And then you want to, I think this is the better way of like really seeing it to capture the feeling versus this way when you're like going really deep in and analyzing the texture
and what it is and what it's made of.
CM mentioned Japanese bonsai tree. That's
definitely yeah.
Really good catch. Thank you. And
isn't it interesting how an expressionist exercise becomes an impressionist experience?
Say that again.
To me, this that we're doing now, he was an expressionist. He was choosing to show his emotions through these photographs. So it's an expressionist exercise on his side, and we are experiencing it as an impression of something that we make in our heads. And I think that's a pretty cool relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Because we are all the time saying, I recognize this, I recognize that, which is an impression of something. But this actually is the expression of his emotions and is making an impression on our experience watching it.
This one is so cool.
Sorry, I went like out of the...
No, it's fine. I also went, like we completely went in different tracks. You're in your thought, process, and I'm here looking at this one, and I really like it. Especially since CM pointed out that it's a bonsai at the bottom. Now I see another tree here, like this one. There's the what do you call it?
The stem, like the trunk?
Exactly, the trunk, and then here there's the puffy part of the tree where the leaves are. And then I was trying to like see the relation, because this one in that context, this one would be a cloud. And this would be like, I don't know, something with the sky happening.
It even, to me, now that I'm looking more at it, it looks like a duck.
Which one?
The one in the middle, well, on the middle left.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, kind of. Like, it could be the strokes of painting a duck very loosely. But yeah, as I tell you, I start seeing things. Like, if I stare at something, I see things and more things.
It's so cool. Let's move on.
CM is mentioning impression, yes, but not impressionism.
Yeah, I read that.
have to. Yeah, it's true. It's not impressionism, because that's not the art it was created through, right?
I'm lost. I'm not sure what's that referring to.
Yeah, well, because I was saying that is impressionism, like what we are getting, and he's saying it's an impression, yes, but it's not impressionism as an art form.
Yeah,
it's true.
What is this one?
I think it's a painted wall that has been rubbed off.
No. I was asking, like, what is it?
Yeah, I'm going like, what is it? Yeah. It looks like two people putting their fingers up saying F you.
Or it's a weird looking bunny. I can't, it looks to me like an evil bunny. And one's like
Donnie Darko?
Maybe, I don't know the names of the...
that movie is so creepy.
Maybe I should Google it after this.
Yeah.
This one is so cool.
That's a building.
Reminds me of Fan Ho.
Yes, with
Does it
this,
remind you?
yeah, with the strong contrast and the hard shadows and trying to get the glimpse of the highlights through it.
What did you say first? Did you say it's a ship?
I think it's a building. I don't know actually.
Because this here looks like a ship,
No, maybe.
and this one looks like another, like a warship. Do you know what I mean?
In
Like
the
look
water?
yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks like a boat.
Yeah, it
Facing
does
that
look
way.
like it, but I don't think.
And
I
this
mean,
one
that's.
looks like a carrier.
Wait,
You
I
know
need
those
to bring this close to my.
airplane carrier? Yeah, because she's looking at a screen this big, by the way. That's the monitor she has over there, so she can't see anything. I'll make it bigger for you. What are we looking at? It's
I
so
actually
cool.
don't know. What do you guys think this is?
This looks like a straight up boat, and this one also.
But how is that it relates to the upper part?
I don't even know. I mean, again.
And I'm sure. No, I know what it is. I know what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I know what it is. You can see it as whatever it is. Is a wall that is painted black, and these are scratches in it, or parts without paint.
I don't know. I think this is a collage.
You think?
Yeah, because look at these dots. I think this was just a dark building, and then he filled it up with whatever he wanted. Like the Fan Ho ones with the windows.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we have
yeah,
like a
maybe.
frame of 3 different prints, and
Yeah,
then there's these things on.
I don't know. What's the title of this piece?
I have no idea. New York 1, 1951.
I don't know. I still think it's a paint off of a painted.
It
part.
could be. I mean, look, the size.
Everything is completely out of reference. There's no reference.
Okay, tell me what about the dots?
Maybe it's the surface of the building. It's the upper part that kind of throws me off. That it looks like the upper part of a building, or maybe even it's sideways. No.
Tim, yeah, I mean it is, but I think we hope you guys are enjoying this, because we do this offline. You know, like we're looking at a photographer's work that is this abstract and this not clear what it is. That's the kind of conversation that would be happening. And the whole idea of this podcast, to be honest with you, is like to sit here and talk about these things. That's why I'm not sure if we should have an audio version. Hey, listeners, I'm sorry about that. If you're enjoying, I mean, some people still listen.
Try to figure out what we're talking about.
Yeah, I wonder how interesting it is to be listening.
We still get listens on the podcast audio format every week on every episode.
And we love you guys for listening,
for
whoever
sure.
you are.
Thank you so much for following.
But yeah, let's not dwell on this one too much. That 2 things on the bottoms are boats.
And that's it.
Yeah. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, I actually kept these 2 together because I found that they're quite similar, like back to back, these 2, because they're both of. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Adrian. Yeah.
We what was I saying? Yeah, I found them to be similar in the way that he composed it, at least. Like it's just the top of a building.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like here, like those things on the side, they don't necessarily make any sense.
Yeah, because it feels like the letters are sideways. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. So I think, see you later, Tim. I think this one like justifies the patterns on this one. Yeah. I don't know.
It's strange for sure.
For sure. Let's see. More paintings on wall. Do you want? Let's move on from paintings on wall.
Yeah. Although the last one I like.
This one?
That one I really like. Just to mention, it's one of my favorite ones.
It is.
I don't know. I really enjoy those kind of paintings. When someone is a painter and makes this kind of art, I really like it. And the fact that it's a photograph, it just makes me really happy. And that he decided to have this framing, this specific framing.
This looks like tire marks.
It looks like it. It looks to me like very expressive brush strokes to me.
Brush.
But it's just I really like how it looks. I will have this at home.
All right.
If I could. But it costs like $5,000.
Let's see how much it costs. It's not up
it's
for
not
sale.
For sale even.
But you're probably right.
Here we're moving into the rock series kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And he just look into patterns between the light, the shadows, the texture of the surface of the rocks, the one that we're seeing right now, I really like it. It feels like these rocks are protecting this little baby rock from the elements, and it's just a very nice and soothing photo.
It's like a rock nest.
Rock nest, yeah. There was a movie that I love when I was growing up called Labyrinth, and then there is one character in the movie that he eats rocks, and he's the most adorable person.
Let me see.
These are lava volcano. I've been in an area where there is volcanoes and lava constructions and areas, and it's mesmerizing to be around lava.
You know, I thought this was like for me when I was opening these images, I thought this was I saw it as a thumbnail, and it looks like somebody's lying face down. Like this is a leg.
Yeah,
so
and
this is like a calf
sunbathing
and a hamstring. No, they're dead.
Yeah, now I see it, and puffed up a bit.
Yeah, very fat.
Because they've been in the water for a long time.
I have no idea what happened. And also it could be like the other way around. Like this could be like a very low belly button. I don't know what that is. Anyway, moving on.
But it really, if you guys have the chance to go to a volcanic area and go to a place where there's like somewhat recent lava sediment, it's really cool to look into. There's a lot of patterns, a lot of things you can see.
Right.
And how it flows and how it dries up.
Is the texture that it makes as well is so interesting in black and white.
And I do think these are taken with filters.
You think so?
I think so.
Why would you assume so?
I don't know. It doesn't strike to me like... because I've been in such a...
So what would the colors be if you were looking at it with color vision?
It's like bluish.
It's bluish?
Bluish black with the bluish tint, I would say.
So you're assuming that it's a red
filter? Yeah. Actually, that's what I had in my head. It might be not, but especially when it's so smooth. Because here you're seeing two type of volcanic rocks. So you have the smooth one in the middle, and then you have what is called the pumice stone, or like the more porous one that is not shiny and is super, super textured. It's the one that people use to take the feet skin off sometimes, you know. These actually are sold. Yeah, so this is the one on the right, and then you have the other one. They dry at a different rate, I think, or something, or the compound is something, I don't know. I'm not a geologist. But they also look different. And you can see how the color is a bit different. The shade of the gray tone.
True.
Adrian is saying it also look human to him.
I think he was talking about the
previous one. Yeah. Even this one, you know, it looks like this could be two legs that are like two thighs on top of each other, and it's someone wearing very wrinkly clothes up top in the upper part of the body.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Do you
see
it?
Talking about these
like,
two.
Yeah.
Very interesting indeed. Oh, this one is so cool. It's a big photo. It's loading up.
This one is one of my favorites of the lava ones.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite too.
Because I just found so interesting how these formations really end up being this way.
Yeah, I definitely would like to have this one framed with the white
passepartout.
Exactly.
It's just it's like I want to touch it. I see it and I want to touch it.
Melted chocolate, is that what you're thinking?
Somewhat. No, I don't know. It's really cool.
It is indeed. And this one is really nice as well. It looks very like velvety chocolate layers folding. And it's so nice.
Or even like, velvet. And
after I clicked it, because the background one got faded a little bit, it kind of almost had like this flowery feeling to it.
I mean, and I don't know, it also looks like fabric that is being like folded up. Like I find it very, very impressive when I've been to Italy and some museums that some sculptures were able to get the completely organic feeling of fabric in a rock. And I feel like this is very similar, but it's completely natural. This is what happened. This is how the fluid rock falls and rests and solidifies, and it's created. So
very interesting indeed. Yeah, Yeah, now that you mention it, I definitely can relate to the fabric representation of in
Stone.
sculpting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how it's so cool how it's organically like so similar as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was the last photo.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm now closing everything.
Hope we didn't lose the stream again.
Yeah, I know the stream is still running, and let's go back to this view.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna double check this. What's it called? Activity monitor in Mac. For those of you tech heads, yeah, we dropped approximately 7 gigabytes
Because of the photos not being
because
open?
yeah,
All right.
yeah. So that was my bad. I apologize. I mean, again,
We're learning as we go.
it's so strange because in the beginning, in the early days, I used to open them the same way, and they would not necessarily like we never had any drops before,
No.
and now this is happening, and I have a decent amount of RAM. The CPU is chilling. It's not. It doesn't even care what's happening, but and I think switching back to Safari helps the CPU.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's not so chill on the RAMs. I don't know. Anyways, enough.
So many different factors and
Yeah, the connection seems steady, so it's not a connection issue. But yeah, I think anything else for today?
no, I think that was well. Maybe repeat now for the people that join us later that we are gonna change from Fridays to
Mhm.
Tuesdays. So next week, as per the week, there's gonna be no episode, and then we are back on Tuesday, the 1st of June, actually.
Cool.
So this is the last May episode, and then we're gonna be back on Tuesdays between 7-7:30. Give us some buffer
Yeah.
because of technical things all the time.
We think we're gonna be on Tuesdays for good.
I think that's
it's not set in stone yet.
No, and
We were gonna try Tuesdays.
and we hope that many of you can join us as well. It's
Yeah.
always nice.
Because we were thinking that Fridays during the summer are, and hopefully now life is getting back to normal. People can go out.
Yeah.
Everybody, including us, want to be out on Friday, given the chance. Because sometimes doing this kind of cancels out the rest of the day before that we have to be here, to be on time, kind of. But Tuesdays we're already at home and we're not planning to leave. I think it's the case for most people. Yeah, we will see you on the first day of the summer.
We also wanted to mention, of course, we're starting to bring in up more people, and we wanna have more episodes where it's about interviewing someone, bringing someone that is doing cool work. So if you have a favorite photographer that you would like to hear their experiences, hear them talk about their photos, your favorite photos as well, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We are open for suggestions, and we don't think anything is too high shot because you always have the no. You already have the no if you don't do it. So
And you know what? I guess it's also like if you are watching us and you have a project you're working on, you have a zine you're working on, you want to talk about it. If you have a project you want to promote, DM us. We can talk about it. See if see if it fits with the show. I don't want to make a promise that I can't keep. So I promise that I want to talk to you and see if we can do it together. But anything else we should mention? Yeah, and if you have cool music and you want to share it, we'd love to have your stuff. I mean, it's not because we're like lacking. It's just because also we think it's cool
to be a megaphone of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, we're not the biggest by a long shot here, so don't expect for us to put your music on and then you're gonna be on the billboards. Hopefully, you will be regardless where you put.
That'd be great, definitely.
But yeah, we didn't want to go through the royalty-free stuff because it's boring.
Definitely. And it means more to us if it's from someone that enjoys also being part of the show and being part of the channel and the community.
Yeah,
it's important for sure.
Right. Other than that, we thank you all for watching.
Mm-hmm.
We hope you have a nice, fantastic coming week and enjoy your weekend as well. We will see you next time.
1st of June.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.